In 1857 in Antarctica, a naval warship was trapped because the sea surface had frozen. The captain commanded the soldiers to work day and night to free the ship so they could continue their mission. That night, everyone detected an explosion in the distance. The captain led a squad to investigate and found an injured man. While giving first aid, they discovered he was disabled and used a prosthetic leg. At that moment, something was approaching from far away, roaring like a monster. The captain quickly brought the injured man back to the ship and deployed a squad to defend. Dozens of gunshots rang out, but the creature did not stop. Bullets were nothing more than dessert to it. Seeing this, the soldiers switched to close combat, but the creature possessed overwhelming strength, knocking opponents dozens of meters away with a single strike. Realizing the situation was turning bad, the captain ordered the troops to retreat back onto the ship. However, the creature did not give up and chased them up to the deck, shouting and demanding that they hand over the injured man. The soldiers rushed to attack, but their efforts were useless. The opponent defeated them effortlessly with just light blows. Refusing to give up, the captain ordered an officer to bring out the heavy 4-barrel shotgun and fire several rounds at the creature, sending it falling off the ship. They thought the enemy had been eliminated, but it immediately regained consciousness. Everyone quickly raised the gangway so it could not climb up again. The creature approached and used its strength to push the ship, tilting it to one side. At the critical moment, the captain grabbed the gun and fired a shot down at the ice. The ice layer shattered, and the creature slowly sank into the freezing sea. Back on the ship, the injured man was still terrified. He said the creature would return to find him and would kill everyone until it captured him. He understood this creature very well because he was the one who created it. The man introduced himself as Victor Frankenstein and began recounting everything. Victor was born into a wealthy noble family with many servants. His father was a baron and an excellent surgeon. However, the family was not happy because his father was a tyrant who demanded everyone live according to his arrangements. From a young age, Victor was taught human anatomy and body structure by his father. The father was extremely strict. If Victor did not study well, he would be beaten immediately. His life was suffocating and controlled. Only the love and warmth from his mother brought him some joy. One day, his mother died while giving birth to the second child. This left Victor devastated. One day, Victor gathered the courage to ask his father why his mother could die at the hands of such a brilliant doctor. Did his father intentionally not save her? His father said he had done everything he could, and no one could defeat death. Those words filled Victor with resentment, and he swore that he would be the one to conquer death. He became determined to surpass his father and control life and death. Some time later, Victor's father also passed away, and the family declined. Victor said goodbye to his younger brother and left for London to continue pursuing medicine. Today Victor had a new thesis defense before the Disciplinary Council of the Royal School of Medicine. Victor said that humans cannot choose the moment they are born, but they can absolutely choose the moment they die. He then presented his newest research, a body that had been completely destroyed, with only the brain and the vagus nervous system still functioning. Victor grafted another person's arm onto this body and used electrical current to stimulate life. Unexpectedly, the arm was able to function normally, controlled by the brain, carrying out deliberate actions. This was a great invention that could change the concept of death. However, the professors considered Victor a quack. God gives humans life, so he can take it whenever he wants. Therefore, what Victor was doing was blasphemy against the divine. Everyone doubted Victor's research, but one of them showed great interest. When Victor returned home, he saw a man waiting for him. The man introduced himself as Henry, sent there by Victor's younger brother William. He told Victor that William had now become a wealthy merchant and was about to get married. The bride was Elizabeth, Henry's niece. Henry said he was very interested in Victor's invention and would fund all research costs. In exchange, he only wanted to replicate the research process and pass it down to future generations. Henry also showed Victor a wooden board carved with a detailed map of the human venous and arterial system. With this diagram of the circulatory system, Victor's invention of assembling parts from different bodies into a complete body would have a higher chance of success. That afternoon, William and his fiancée also came to meet Victor. At the dining table, Victor kept passionately talking about his invention. He seemed very proud of it. Elizabeth was a devout person with a pure soul. She believed that taking body parts from others was inhumane and unethical. Because of their opposing views, the two argued fiercely. However, this made Victor even more interested in her. A few weeks later, William and Henry took Victor to an abandoned castle to serve as a research facility. Victor was fascinated by the classic architecture of the castle. He quickly laid out his designs for this experiment: an ice chamber to preserve corpses, 2 hydraulic tanks, steam engines, and especially a lightning rod device to generate energy. Henry said he would provide everything as long as the experiment succeeded. That afternoon, Victor went to an execution ground to choose the strongest condemned prisoner for research. searching for the key position in the body to activate the energy pulse. On the way back, he saw Elizabeth going somewhere. Curious, Victor followed her to a church. However, she quickly noticed him. To apologize, Victor invited her to dinner. During the meal, Elizabeth said she loved science and was always searching for life forms from their earliest, purest, and most innocent state. Through the conversation, Victor gradually developed feelings for her. Until now, he had only studied death. For the first time, he felt that life itself was also something fascinating. On the other side, William was working tirelessly to build and prepare the laboratory according to Victor's instructions. Finally, everything was completed. Now Victor only needed to determine the location on the body to trigger the energy, and the experiment could begin. Today, Elizabeth visited Victor again. Seeing the body on the research table, she unintentionally exclaimed that it was beautiful. God designed humans with both sides symmetrical across a boundary that is the spine. Hearing this, Victor believed they shared the same perception of beauty, so he confessed his feelings to her. However, Elizabeth rejected Victor's affections because she was already engaged to William, his younger brother. Victor kept thinking about Elizabeth's words, and he finally discovered the location where the energy pulse needed to be activated, the top of the spine. He then applied a small electrical current to that position on the test body, and unexpectedly, it revived for a short amount of time. With a stronger energy source, the body could be revived permanently. Victor quickly went to a nearby battlefield to collect the bodies of soldiers who had died in combat. Returning to the laboratory, he began selecting the best parts from their bodies. Then he stitched everything together using needle and thread to form a complete body. A few days later, this was finished. Now he only needed to use energy to activate life and revive the assembled body. Coincidentally, at that moment, a thunderstorm was raging across the sky. It was the perfect energy source to trigger life into the body. Victor ran to inform Henry to prepare for the experiment. But Henry was now in the final stage of bone cancer. His hair had all fallen out, and his body was being eaten away from the inside by infection. Henry begged Victor to transfer his consciousness into the new healthy body. However, Victor said this was not the time to talk about such things and rushed up to the castle rooftop. Despite the storm, he climbed to the top of the tower to install the lightning rod. Henry still staggered after him, pleading that if Victor would help him, he would give him anything, even his niece Elizabeth. Even so, Victor insisted that it was impossible because the disease had already destroyed Henry's entire body. Refusing to give up, Henry grabbed one of the lightning devices and said that if Victor would not help him, he would destroy it. Not willing to let everything fall apart, Victor lunged to take it back. The result was that both the device and Henry fell to the lower floor. When Victor rushed down to check, Henry was nothing more than a lifeless corpse. Only one step remained before the experiment was complete. Victor could not stop now. Ignoring the damaged lightning rod, he proceeded with the experiment. Violent bolts of lightning struck the rod, traveled down the conductor, and surged into the creature's body. The electrical power was so overwhelming that the lab felt as if it would explode. When everything stopped, Victor ran to check the body he had assembled but could not sense any sign of life. Believing the experiment had failed, he returned to his room in despair and eventually fell asleep from exhaustion. When he woke up, Victor was shocked to see the large body standing in front of him. It was like a newborn child, knowing nothing at all, only able to mimic Victor's actions. Seeing the creature before him, Victor felt very happy and proud because his lifelong research had finally succeeded. He began teaching the creature the basic things of this world such as water, fire, and light. For safety, Victor chained it in the basement and slowly instructed it. In the days that followed, the creature's vitality grew stronger and stronger, but its language abilities showed no development. It could only say one word, Victor. Today, while Victor was cutting the creature's hair, he didn't pay attention and allowed it to touch the blade, cutting its hand. Strangely, the wound healed immediately afterward. This made Victor extremely tense, unsure whether he had created a human or monster. That afternoon, William and Elizabeth came to the castle to ask Victor about Henry. Victor said he was not here and then took William away to show off the achievements he had made. At that moment, Elizabeth heard noises from the basement and went to check. Seeing the creature locked inside, she suddenly felt an unusual sense of compassion. Perhaps this was the being with a pure and innocent soul she had been searching for all this time. She scolded Victor for locking this poor man down here. But Victor said that for safety, it was necessary. That night, when everyone was asleep, Elizabeth went to see the creature again and even taught it how to say her name. Learning this, Victor became furious and told Elizabeth to stay away from this thing. He said it was a failed experiment. Although it was alive, its mind was like a blank sheet of paper with nothing inside. However, she believed that this was purity itself, the original nature of humans as God first created them, not yet corrupted by the cruel world. After trying to persuade her and failing, Victor went to vent his anger on the creature. He restrained it with chains and then repeatedly beat it with an iron rod to teach it a lesson. Unable to endure any longer, the creature grabbed the iron rod and used its strength to bend it in front of Victor's shocked eyes. Realizing the creature he created was extremely dangerous, Victor took William to see Henry's body and admitted that his experiment had failed, making the creature incredibly dangerous. He wanted William to take Elizabeth home while he stayed behind to end everything. As soon as the two left, Victor began pouring gasoline all over the castle and then set it on fire to destroy everything, including the creature he had created. However, as soon as he stepped outside, Victor heard the creature he had poured so much effort into calling out to him. He wanted to run inside to save it, but just as he reached the door, an explosion blasted Victor several dozen meters away, destroying one of his legs. At that moment, Elizabeth had a bad feeling and asked William to take her back to the castle to rescue the creature. However, when she arrived, it was already too late. She could only stand helplessly as the research facility was completely destroyed. Returning to the present, the captain was so absorbed in Victor's story that he did not realize the terrifying creature was rising. Hearing the disturbance outside, the captain opened the door, and the creature lunged in, lifting him by the neck. It began telling the story of its own life. That day, after the flames engulfed the castle and its cries for help went unanswered, the creature used all its strength to destroy the chains and jumped into the waste disposal shaft, falling into the sea. When it regained consciousness, it found itself washed ashore. The creature wandered aimlessly through the forest, encountering animals and feeling life and freedom for the first time. However, the peace did not last long. Hunters spotted it and opened fire in pursuit. It fled into a wooden cabin deep in the forest. Here it met a blind old man and a kind little girl. The creature hid in the basement and silently observed the old man teaching the girl to read. It watched and learned alongside her. Gradually, the creature became an invisible member of the family. One day, after cutting a yard full of firewood for the family, it heard the old man call it the spirit of the forest and express the family's gratitude toward it. From that moment, it quietly helped the family, and in return, the family left food for it as thanks. Life went on peacefully until one day a pack of fierce wolves attacked their sheep. The hunters in the house fought back, killing several wolves and forcing the pack to retreat. Through this, the creature realized that in life, peace could not exist without violence. The family decided to go hunting and left the old man home alone. That night, the creature entered the house. The old man sensed someone entering, greeted it politely, and invited it to drink wine and eat bread. He said he had always known someone lived beneath the basement and helped the family in secret. He invited it to stay with him as company while the others were away. From then on, it lived with the old man and was taught how to speak, read, and write. The old man loved books, so every day the creature read to him. One day, when the creature reached the final book, a book about the origin of humankind, it desperately wanted to know who it was and why it existed alone in this world. To find answers, it returned alone to the research facility. In the ruins, it found Victor's records about assembling a body from different parts. At last, the creature learned how it had been created and that Victor was its creator. When it returned to the cabin, it saw a pack of wolves attacking it. The creature rushed to save the old man. With its extraordinary strength, the wolves were quickly driven away. Then it went to the old man and told him it now knew its identity. The old man was happy for it and advised the creature to forgive its creator, saying that only forgiveness would allow it to survive. At that moment, 3 hunters appeared. Believing that the creature had harmed the old man, they fired their guns. One of them even charged with a sickle. The creature was killed by the hunters right at the doorway on the cold snow. But because it had been created with immortality, it woke up in unbearable pain and loneliness. It decided to find Victor and ask for a favor. At the same time, Victor was sleeping and dreamt of a dark angel removing its mask to reveal a skull underneath. Today was the wedding day of William and Elizabeth. To end the uncomfortable tension between them, Victor came to give Elizabeth his blessing. He also apologized for killing the creature on his own, saying he only wanted to protect everyone. However, Elizabeth believed this was a lie and gave him a slap to vent her anger. When Victor returned to his room, the creature was already waiting for him. It begged Victor to create another being like itself to be its companion, so it would no longer be alone. However, Victor refused. He said he had made a mistake by creating a monster and did not want to repeat it. Hearing this, the creature became furious and lunged at Victor to attack him. Hearing the commotion, Elizabeth ran over to see what was happening. Seeing that the creature was still alive made her extremely happy. When Victor was about to shoot the creature, Elizabeth threw herself in front of the bullet. At that moment, William's men also arrived. Seeing Elizabeth lying motionless, everyone rushed forward, but the creature did not allow anyone to approach. Then, following Elizabeth's request, the creature carried her away under the terrified gazes of everyone. William, having struck his head hard against a cabinet, did not survive. Enraged, Victor grabbed the shotgun and set out to hunt down the creature to avenge his brother. The creature brought Elizabeth to a cave. Elizabeth expressed her happiness at seeing the creature again, saying that it was the purest and most innocent man she had ever met. She passed away in the creature's arms. At that moment, Victor reached the place. The creature, filled with rage, charged at him. It said that Victor had given it life, so surely he would also know how to take it away. After speaking, the creature turned and ran, allowing Victor to continue chasing it. Time passed as Victor chased the creature across mountains, forests, and freezing horizons. Guns were useless, so Victor even bore explosives in hopes of ending everything in a final battle. That night, when the creature appeared, Victor fired several gunshots, but they were ineffective, and the creature grabbed his leg and dragged him across the snow. Seeing the stash of explosives Victor had prepared, the creature ordered Victor to light them and pray they would end its life. However, when the bomb exploded, Victor was thrown far away and seriously injured, while the creature remained unharmed. Its wounds slowly healed as though nothing had happened. Returning to the present, Victor was now exhausted. Hearing the creature's tragic story, he felt deep guilt. He regretted and repented for creating life without taking responsibility for it, causing it to live a life of pain, loneliness, and torment. With his last breath, Victor apologized to the creature and, for the first time, called it his son. Hearing these words, the creature told Victor to forgive himself, because forgiveness was the only thing that could redeem mistakes. It then gave Victor a kiss as a farewell and walked away. Before leaving, the creature used its strength to push the ship free from the ice, sending it back to the open sea. This time, the captain and everyone on board felt relieved and joyful, knowing they could finally return home. The film ends here. See you in the next movie.